Welcome into the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. My name is Tanner Kern, certified G, bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And this right here, this is G Money Grant Mitchell. Today, we're talking about the biggest games in the Week 11 NFL slate, and you can't teach that. Bada boom, man, the people in the room. G Money Grant Mitchell, how you doing?
Tanner, I'm feeling pretty fired up because the reception on the videos on the channel lately has been awesome. We got a bunch of new subscribers. The views are going up, the comments, the likes, all that stuff. So I'm feeling good. I'm excited to get this recording done. And to everyone who is new in the audience joining us here, we appreciate you guys being here. And hopefully we can deliver on this episode for you.
We're going all the way to the moon. We've been telling people this for a long time now. So get on the rocket ship because it's on full blast right now. Full blast. And we had a great couple shows last week, a lot of Drake May content. We'll talk about Drake May a little bit today because he's that good at football. We can talk about how bad the Jets are for a little bit, but then we're going to talk about the games that you need to know this week on the Week 11 slate. So very excited. Great NFL slate. You know, we've come on here, I think, the past couple weeks, and we've been like, not great. It's something. It's football. But this week you come on, like, we got a lot of games to watch and be excited about.
Great college football slate as well, too. I was talking, so I got my own YouTube channel. I post some stuff over there, and I was talking with someone in the comments, and they were making fun of me for being a soccer fan. And you do that too. You make fun of me for watching soccer.
Yes.
And I always say, not only do I love the sport, but if you don't have a good NFL slate, if you don't have a good college football slate, it really helps. It helps kind of bridge the gap. Like, it helps move you through the day until you get to the better games. But that's not a problem this weekend.
Grant, I was betting on South Alabama versus Central Michigan basketball at 11 a.m. on YouTube yesterday. So that's the YouTube basketball streams at 11 a.m. are by far the best because you get the live chat and there's like 5,000 people watching, and it's just like all people betting on the game, obviously, at work, which is funny. But yeah, no, I would never watch soccer on a Saturday or Sunday. That's during football season. That's crazy behavior, Grant.
Well,
that
the games, so
behavior.
The earliest games are normally at 7:30. The majority of them start at either 9 or 11:30.
I would rather watch a MAC football game. Like, truthfully. We got a big one in college football. I mean, we could talk about it for like 2 minutes here. We got Texas versus Georgia this weekend. Grant's lady is a Georgia Bulldogs fan. Georgia alum, right?
Yeah, she was there during the back-to-back national championships. And like her parents went there, her grandparents went there. So I make fun of her for being a bandwagon just because it's funny, but she's a real Bulldog.
All right. Well, Arch Manning, nothing. See, as a college football fan, my question to you is, and I know this would upset your lady, but if Arch Manning walks in between the hedges, it's in Georgia, between the hedges, and absolutely lights up the Georgia Bulldogs defense, and Texas goes on to win, aren't you going to feel like good about that? Like, don't you feel like the underdog story of Arch Manning going from getting just shit on to where he is now?
No, I hate this. There's nothing I hate more in sports than creating a false underdog story, because Arch Manning's not an underdog. He was the preseason Heisman favorite. He sucked so bad that he's now become a quote unquote underdog. I hate this. It has nothing to do with Arch. I just hate this in sports. When there's someone up on a pedestal and you think they're the best thing ever, and it turns out they suck. And now it's like, oh, how could you say that? How don't you have to feel bad for him? No, I don't feel bad for him. He's playing with a $20 million roster. Well, his uncles are the greatest quarterbacks the NFL has ever seen. He was playing 4'10" kids back in high school with no athletic talent. He was a 5-star recruit. He got to sit behind Quinn Ewers after. No, I don't feel bad.
Well, there's no underdog story in that sense when you really blow it up like big picture stuff. But like when you're looking at right now, the microcosm of the season going from where he was in week 1, week 2, the Athletic writing the articles on him saying he's the biggest bust of all time in college football, to where he is potentially now going on the road to upset Georgia here. That makes me feel something special. If you don't feel something about that, like if you want to see the kid fail, there's something wrong with you.
I don't want to see him fail. I want a good game of football, and I'm not gonna add to him. If he wins and if Texas wins and he plays well, like, wow, Arch did a great job. I'm not gonna go look at how much he had to overcome to get here. No, I don't care about that.
All right. Well, Texas is going to win that one, and then we got Alabama, OU. I think Bama will just destroy OU, like beat them into submission, especially after last year. How that game
The Venables defense would be the only thing to worry about there.
Yeah, but yeah, I think you just need John. You need John Mateer to play the game of the gambler himself, John Mateer,
The gambling man.
the gambling man himself. We got Iowa USC. Nobody cares about that.
That could be a good game too, though. Texas A&M, South Carolina. There's a chance that gets interesting.
Yeah, I mean, 18.5-point dog. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind taking South Carolina there. I think
I'm all over South Carolina on that line. Yeah,
that's a lot of points. UConn knocked off Duke last week, Grant.
You called that.
That's a big win for them. We got Pitt, Notre Dame. We've talked about that for college game day. That's disgusting. That's disgusting.
You know what? I think I would rather see that Division II rivalry you were telling me about, the railroad rivalry, than Pitt, Notre Dame.
Well, so honestly, too, like I saw on social media after the people from that, like who have the ADs, were like complaining at college game day, like maybe next time you won't forget about the little guy. Like, bro, get to the back of the line. Okay. You guys weren't second on that list. Okay. You were way down. Alabama, OU, and then really Texas, Georgia should have been before Notre Dame. And you want to complain about Notre Dame getting the spot. That's one thing, but don't be like, maybe next time you'll remember the little guy. Like, you guys should not even be considered. I'm sorry. I don't need to see your team walk across the train tracks. They can show a video of that on college game day.
Florida, Ole Miss, the Lane Kiffin Bowl. That'll be good.
Yeah, that'll be good. There's some good games, but see, like my slate tomorrow, like how I'm gonna spend my day, I'll probably have Notre Dame Pittsburgh on, and then I'll go right to, we got Arkansas LSU. I guess that's a fun little SEC game. Then I'll go to the 3:30 Alabama game, and then I'll roll it into the Georgia game at 6:30. Why 6:30? Make it 7:30. I don't get it.
Wait, which game's at 6:30?
Georgia.
Huh? No, it's at 7:30.
It's 7:30. Oh, my bad. I thought it was 6:30.
No,
maybe I was looking at Central Times. So,
anyways, you have Clemson, Louisville tonight as well. That could be a good game.
Yeah. I mean, Louisville needs to keep winning. That could be fun. Yeah, it's a good weekend of college football. We also had Thursday night football last night. I think spent a couple minutes on this. Talk a little Drake May, Grant, if you want to, because he's the best quarterback ever.
I mean, he's playing remarkably well, and again, it's. I have to say that he's not playing a bunch of great teams, although they did beat the Bills, which is a very good win. Not taken away from them. They beat the Bucs, which is a very good win. Couple of standouts there. They are playing bad teams, but they are just destroying those bad teams. So the fact they are beating them so handedly, combined with the fact they did beat the good teams when they played them, like the Bucs, like the Bills, I think they're legit. I think they're a legit 9-2. I think they could win a playoff game or two.
I think they could easily. I mean, there's a realistic chance that they're the number one seed in the AFC. My biggest thing is, what is it going to look like against a quality team in a high pressure situation? Like last night, I know they won by 13 points and covered the spread, but like, was that a great win for them? I don't think so. Like defensively, if you got Justin Fields having a pulse out there, he probably could have put up a few more points. Like it wasn't a great win in my opinion. Drake May played well. The offense was well. Stephon Diggs was great, but it wasn't a great win.
I get what you're saying. The performance wasn't great, but the outcome was also very comfortable. You never thought the Jets really had a chance, even though the Patriots weren't playing amazingly.
Yeah, I mean, if the Jets score at the end there at the 3-minute mark, which they just couldn't throw, like the Jets could not throw the football at all, and they couldn't catch the ball when there were good throws. But yeah, Drake May, current MVP favorite right now. I don't think he'll win it. I think Stafford should probably win it over Drake May just because they're a more competitive team in the NFC playing against legitimate competition. But what's your thoughts there, Grant, before we move into the Week 11 slate?
Well, yeah, I just went ahead and I pulled up the MVP odds while you were talking there. Let's use Bet365. And this is a good time to plug, by the way, guys. If you do go to WSN.com, we do have promo codes for a whole bunch of different sports books. That includes Bet365 here. Believe their deal is bet 5, get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. So make sure you check that out at WSN.com. Their MVP odds, they have May at plus 240, Stafford at plus 250. Stafford, I guess depending on how the weekend goes, Stafford could pass him or he could fall far behind. May's already played his game this week. You got Mahomes and Jonathan Taylor at 6-1. Somehow Josh Allen is plus 750, and then Darnold is 10-1. To me, Darnold should be up there with Mahomes in the +5 or +500 +600 range. I think the top 5 is May, Stafford, Mahomes, Taylor, and Darnold. And I think it's relatively close between all of them.
Darnold's been terrible though in the second, like last week's second half was just killer for him.
Yeah, that is true, but he's still dominating a lot of the advanced numbers. He's dominating EPA. He's first in QBR. The Seahawks are winning games. This is a big weekend because we do have Seahawks Rams. This is big, not just for those teams, but for those quarterbacks as well.
So I will say I'm just perusing the awards market here before we move into our games this week and talk about WSN.com, the best sports network you're going to find. Rashee Rice is currently listed under AP Comeback Player of the Year. I know it's 40-1, but it is the 6th option on there. That's crazy.
For getting himself arrested?
That's crazy. Like, he shouldn't even be listed. What is this?
What is he coming back from?
Getting arrested, making it out of jail. 40-1. Like, so it's CMC, Dak, Hutchinson, Diggs, Jones, Rashee Rice. And behind Rashee Rice, you have Trevor Lawrence, JJ McCarthy. Like, JJ McCarthy probably should be higher up a little bit. Max Crosby, Christian Watson, Chris Olave, Jacoby Brissett, Cooper Kupp. Like, none of those guys are going to win, including Rashee Rice. But the fact that some FanDuel is taking a bet on Rashee Rice at 40-1 to win Comeback Player of the Year is asinine.
It's not just FanDuel. FanDuel's got his odds. DraftKings has his odds. BetMGM has his odds. They should all be ashamed of themselves for offering. He did nothing aside from get arrested, and because he's a football player, spend less time in jail than he should have.
I will say, if you tweeted that out, like with a ticket, like you put $5 on it or whatever, and said locked in Rashee Rice to win Comeback Player of the Year, and then put a picture of his like mugshot, like on a tweet, I bet that would go viral. I might try that today, honestly.
I think it's a good idea. I think you get some support there. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, this is Ride the Line Grace podcast in sports betting entertainment. We are presented by WSN, the World Sports Network. Grant, tell the people why they need to check out WSN.com.
100%. Well, guys, if you're joining us from the last episode, you saw how well it did. If you've been around here throughout the NFL season, you know, Tanner and I have been we've been making a lot of very smart picks on this show. And the good news is we share those picks every day over at WSN.com. NFL, NBA, when the MLB's back in season, NHL, basically anything you're looking for, soccer picks, even though Tanner makes fun of me for it. We got everything over there waiting for you at WSN.com. Also got the promo codes for the sports books, like I mentioned, for Bet365. That's Bet5. Get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. You can get up to $1,500 in bonus bets, BetMGM. A whole bunch of opportunities over there waiting for you at WSN.com.
Yep, definitely. And then also, guys, make sure you subscribe to the podcast, Ride the Line, the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. We're here every Tuesday and Friday. We post clips during the week, so make sure you guys check it out. But anyways, Grant, we got our first big game on the Sunday slate. The Seattle Seahawks will face the Los Angeles Rams. Basically, the NFC West title is on the line in this game. A lot of playoff implications here. You got Matthew Stafford playing at an MVP level. You have Sam Darnold lighting it up every single week. How do you see this one playing out? Rams favored by 3 points at home.
A great game between two teams that not just trying to win the NFC West, not just trying to win the NFC, maybe trying to win the Super Bowl. You look at some of the advanced numbers here. They love both of these teams. You're going to find them both in the top 10 for offensive and defensive EPA per play. Two quarterbacks who are in the MVP race, great head coaches. This genuinely is going to be one of, or at least it's shaping up to be one of the best games of this entire NFL season. We'll get the rematch later on, but the fact this is the first time they're meeting, there's a lot of unknown circulating. So, you know, you can make arguments for either team, and I think that's kind of what defines what is a good matchup or not, what's a competitive matchup. If you go into this saying, I genuinely have no idea who's going to win, that means it's going to be a good game, and I'm just excited to see it more than anything else. I got my betting picks, obviously, but just as a fan of football, I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. You know, when it comes to the spread here, Rams -3 versus Seattle Seahawks. Obviously, these two teams have not played so far this season. They're both 7-2. I lean towards the Rams to cover that number. I think overall they're the better team offensively and defensively. You look at just Puka Nacua has been fantastic. He's been tremendous. And then Devontae Adams has been money around the goal line. The Seattle Seahawks, JSN's been great. Like, there's just so much talent in this game. But I do trust the Rams defense a lot more than I trust the Seattle Seahawks defense. And that's kind of where I stand in this game. When you look at defensive stats here, points per game allowed, the Rams are second in the NFL at 17. Seattle Seahawks are like top 10 as well, allowing 19 points per game. They've been beating teams in the ground. But I look at some of the games, like I go back to the matchup where Baker Mayfield was just lighting up the Seattle Seahawks. And I say Matthew Stafford has that same capability to do that in this spot. So I'm going to lean towards the Rams -3 at home.
Yeah, I'm probably going to be staying away from this spread. If it was 2.5, I'd probably be on the Rams. But if I did have to make a pick, I would also go with the Rams because, I mentioned there at the beginning that I think it's very much a 50-50, making arguments for both teams. If I had to pick a winner, I would go with the Rams. And rarely do you see a team win but not cover a 3-point line. Like, it's got to be a super, super close game for that to happen. Again, I'm probably not going to bet the spread. I would take the money line, include the money line in a parlay, something like that. But I do ultimately lean towards the Rams here. And kind of to build off some of the numbers you were saying there. So offensive EPA per play, the Rams are third, Seahawks are 10th. Defensively, Rams are second, Seahawks are fifth. We think of the Seahawks as having this terrific defense, and they do, yet it is the Rams that has actually been even better this season.
Looking at the Seattle Seahawks schedule, and I know they've played some tough competition, don't get me wrong, but you got the 49ers, you lost to them. You played the Steelers, you played the Saints, you played the Cardinals, the Bucks. That's a good win. The Jags, Texans. Like, there's not a lot of high-powered offenses on here. Commanders, Cardinals again. So that's my biggest fear. Now you finally got a high-powered offense. And the last time you faced one, I mean, I guess it was the last high-powered offense, probably the Buccaneers, I would say. Right? Yeah, Buccaneers. And you got lit up in that game. So you haven't played any offenses that are concerning yet. So I think this is going to be a little bit of a wake-up call for that Seattle Seahawks defense.
Yeah, I can totally understand why you would say that. So that transitions into my player prop pick, and it kind of goes against a lot of what we're talking about here because I am going to take Matthew Stafford under, even though I do think he's going to play a good game. I did the same thing with Dak Prescott earlier in the year. I forget who the Cowboys were playing, but as I said, I expect 3-4 touchdowns from Dak, high completion percentage, good, good numbers, all that stuff. I just don't know about this line. So if I look at Stafford's yardage totals this year, and Stafford's been amazing. He is one of the top MVP candidates. But he has, if I'm looking at when he cashed the over on this line, the first time was against the Titans, who are miserable. He goes over against the Colts when they're kind of, it's just a back and forth offensive slugfest. That was the Colts pre-Sauce Gardner, obviously. He went over in both games against the Niners, who he knows like the back of his hand. The Niners also dealing with a bunch of injuries. And then he goes over against the Saints. And I'm not nitpicking to say that he hasn't been good. We have to be able to separate when we're talking about a player being good or bad from when we're talking about a player to go over under a certain line in a betting market. When I look at that, the fact that it is these bad defenses or just like these certain contexts combined with the fact that I think both these teams want to they want to control the ball. They want to dictate the game flow of this matchup. I just don't know that Stafford's going to be throwing this ball 35, 40 times. I think you throw it, 28, 29, go for like 240, 3 touchdowns, but I don't see him having that huge, huge explosive day.
And if you like over 2.5 touchdowns right now, that's plus 150. So if you do think 3 touchdowns, and his line is set at 2.5, that's how you know he's playing at an MVP level because most guys are getting that set at 1.5.
1.5, yeah.
Jaxon Smith-Njigba, my first prop here, kind of similar mindset. I'm going to go under 100.5 receiving yards for JSN. As much as this concerns me, as much as it concerned me, and he's been going over 100 pretty much every week. He had only 93 last week against the Cardinals on the 9th. But when you look at the previous numbers, 132, 162, 123, 129, he did that against the Bucks, Jags, Texans, and Commanders. The Texans one is obviously the one that stands out to me because they have a good defense. But if I am the Seattle Seahawks and I'm trying to get the ball to him, on the flip side, you got the Los Angeles Rams saying like, hey, the one guy that cannot beat us in this game is JSN. We are not going to let JSN beat us. Make somebody else beat us. So knowing how good of a coach Sean McVay is, knowing how good of a staff he has there, I can't picture a world where it's just easy completions to JSN all game. So I'm going to take the under and pray for the best.
I'm actually going to take the over on another Seahawks receiver. I'm going to take Rashid Shaheed over 19.5 yards for his longest reception, which I know sounds a little funky, but The Seahawks this season, they've done a great job of generating explosive plays. That's not the issue. It's that they still don't have really a deep ball specialist sort of guy. JSN can do that, and he's a great receiver, but they want somebody to be on kind of those vertical clear out routes. They want to isolate someone one-on-one, knowing that the defense is rolling over the top to double or bracket JSN, whatever. They want that guy, and they went out and they got him at the trade deadline. They got Rashid Shaheed. Now, Shaheed didn't have tons of explosive plays with the Saints, but we also know from his time there, that is his specialty. And am I going to judge him for not producing at elite level with Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck? No, I'm not. The way the Seahawks set up a lot of these deep play action shots using their heavy personnel and everything, I do think they're going to get these opportunities for Shaheed. And then Darnold's just got to connect on one of them for him to go over this line. And 19.5 is also not super far either. And Darnold has been willing to take those deep shots. He actually has the second highest yards per attempt in the Super Bowl era. The only person ahead of him, I think, is a quarterback back from the 60s. So Darnold will take those shots. Shaheed should be in position to get them.
Shaheed doesn't catch many passes that are under that yardage line. Like if Shaheed is catching footballs, they're typically deep shots down the field, especially now in this offense, I believe, with the Seattle Seahawks. He's not the feature guy anymore. I know Olave was in New Orleans with him, obviously, but like he's much more of a backseat in this offense, which opens up more deep shots, probably less receptions, but more chances to catch passes.
Also, don't forget the Seahawks offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak, was the Saints offensive coordinator last year. And you want to look at how Shaheed started the year last year, because I forget when Kubiak got fired, but Shaheed started last year by catching a 59-yard pass, then a 70-yard pass, then he didn't catch anything, then a 25-yard pass, then a 43-yard pass.
Yep. Okay, so big play here right now. This is the one that everybody needs to take. He might need to take it in a parlay, honestly, because it's a little juiced. Cooper Kupp over 2.5 receptions. Love the play. Cooper Kupp playing for the Seattle Seahawks now, going against his old team. Don't you think they want to give him the football a little bit? Don't you think they want to throw him the ball? Had 2 receptions last week against the Cardinals, 1 against the Texans, had 2 against the Jags, 6 against the Bucks, 4 against the Cardinals. This is going to be a game where the Seattle Seahawks have to throw the football. There's no doubt about it. And they got a lot of options. So if I am the Rams, I'm going to take away JSN. I'm taking away JSN right away. That leaves open Rashid Shaheed. That leaves open Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's got to step up and have a big game here. If he doesn't, I don't think the Seattle Seahawks have any chance of winning it, especially the fact going against your old team now. This is a spot where I want to take Cooper Kupp overs.
My final pick for this game, I'll take the Kenneth Walker line over 44.5 rushing yards. There's been more of a inclination to get him the ball in recent weeks. He had 14 carries last weekend. 11 before that, but 17 before that one. Also, he probably would have gone over 2 weeks ago against the Commanders, but the Seahawks were beating them so bad that the starters kind of got pulled a little bit. But he had 67 yards last week, 66 yards 3 weeks ago. He went under before that, but then it's 86 and 81. He's quietly been putting up numbers for this offense. And when we go back to kind of some of the things we said where the Seahawks or the Rams know the Seahawks want to beat them with JSN. The Seahawks know the Rams want to beat them by airing it out with Stafford. This does just kind of set up to be a sneaky game for the running backs. And 44.5 yards really is not a big line at all. I get he's going against a good front line, but still, that's a relatively small line. I think you can go over.
Definitely. My last play, give me Cooper Kupp touchdown. Why not? Plus 370. We'll give a long shot out here. I think, again, old team, knowing that they're going to go after JSN there, I think this is a spot where Cooper Kupp can shine.
Okay. That does it for Seahawks Rams. We on to the next one?
On to the next one, Grant. Why don't you take us into it?
We got a big one here. AFC West rivalry, Kansas City Chiefs, Denver Broncos. The Broncos have only beaten Mahomes, I believe, 1 time in his Chiefs career, but the Broncos do come in battling for the number 1 seed, not just in the division, but in the AFC as a whole. You get the Chiefs favored by about 3.5 points in this one. That's actually down because they were at 4.5 points earlier in the week. Bettors clearly favoring the Broncos early on. We'll see how this line closes. But Tanner, what do you make of this matchup?
Wild line, first of all. Like this just shows the respect that the Chiefs have in the marketplace, obviously. Even at 3.5. Like the Chiefs are good. Don't get me wrong. They're better than the Broncos. They're favored to win the Super Bowl right now, knowing that they're not even in the playoffs. Kind of crazy to think that. But they're a good football team. I still think 3.5 is a lot for the Broncos. With that being said, I think the Chiefs are going to cover this number with ease. I think it's going to be a double-digit win for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think it'll be close early, and then they're going to pull away. Patrick Mahomes, fantastic. Andy Reid coming off a bye week. That's another thing that we need to consider. Mahomes was at the Texas Tech football game last week, living it up. Now he's back, ready to go, refresh mind. This team's going to come out, play well. I got the Chiefs winning by 10 plus here. I think it's going to be that kind of game, but the 3.5 at just first glance seems a little disrespectful to the Broncos, knowing what they have done so far this season. My biggest issue with the Denver Broncos, they can't score. If you can't score, you can't beat the Chiefs. Eventually, that Broncos defense is going to give up points to Patrick Mahomes, and eventually they're going to blow them off the field.
Yeah, I echo a lot of what you just said there. Looking at the Broncos' recent offensive outputs, it's 10 against the Raiders, 18 against the Texans. Did get 44 against the Cowboys, but that's the Cowboys. Did get 33 against the Giants. Had 0 points entering the fourth quarter, which is crazy. You had 13 against the Jets, 21 against the Eagles. It's been a lot of very mundane offensive efforts. So I echo a lot of what you said. I think the Chiefs are going to blow them out. At least the final score will be a blowout. It could be close at halftime. It could be close through 2.5, 3 quarters, but I think the Chiefs are ultimately going to pull away. And it does go to what you said. It's wild that the Super Bowl favorites are out of the playoffs right now. It's wild you're getting them favored by more than 3 points on the road against a division rival, against a team that is 8-2, whatever the Broncos are. But it's legitimate. We both agree the Chiefs are a much better team.
Chiefs team total, Grant, over 24.5 points. I feel pretty good about that one. What do you think there?
Over 24.5. It is a lot against this Broncos defense. And so you
need 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, you need 4 touchdowns. I was just thinking because at 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals is actually less likely than 4 touchdowns.
So another one too, if you want to take a little risk here and think Bo Nix is going to pop off, you could go Broncos over 20.5 team total points, because they're going to have to throw the ball. I think the Chiefs are a little more susceptible to high-powered offenses. Not that the Broncos have one, but if Bo Nix gets going, there's definitely weapons there. So 20.5 for the team total. I don't know. I'm talking myself into a little bit of an over here. I don't like it.
Yeah, so let me jump in here because I'm actually going to take the Bo Nix over. His line is at 218.5. I don't like Bo Nix. I don't think he's good. It's not that I don't like him personally. I don't think he's that good of a football player. His recent games, 150 against the Raiders last week, 173 against the Texans before that. But this is just a game. It's just a game where he's going to have to throw the football. When you watch them play, he's missed a lot of throws recently, and the majority of the stuff happens at the offensive line. It's not going to fly in this game. You just cannot get away trying to live like that against this Chiefs team. Like you said, the Broncos have a phenomenal defense. They might have the best defense in the NFL, but it's not going to matter because great offense beats great defense, and Mahomes is the best quarterback in the world. So there's going to be pressure on this Broncos offense. They don't have a game-changing wide receiver. They don't have a game-changing tight end. They don't have a game-changing running back. That means it has to be the quarterback. And heck, Nix might throw a couple of interceptions in this game, but that's even more reason for them to throw the ball to try to keep pace with the Chiefs.
Bo Nix to throw an interception minus 140. I'm going to give you an interception prop here, though, Graham. Patrick Mahomes not to throw an interception, minus 128 right now. I think when you look at Mahomes, obviously 5 on the season, but 3 picks in the past 2 weeks, 2 against Washington, 1 against the Bills. That was a tough spot. You got Mahomes coming off a bye week against a division opponent. He's going to be locked in. Obviously, things can happen. There's going to be tip passes. There's going to be overthrows. There's going to be hit as he throws and ball goes up in the air. Like, there's going to be those moments in the football game. But I trust Patrick Mahomes, and I trust just Andy Reid's play calling overall. They're not going to put him in danger. Like, they're not going to have him sitting in the pocket for 10 seconds if he can't do that, right? It's going to be quick throws, get the ball out, try to keep getting first downs and move it down the field. He's not going to make the mistake on his own. I really don't think that's going to happen. Even against a great defense like the Broncos, I think it's going to take something like a tip or an overthrow for him to throw a pick in this game. So I'll take a chance, no pick for Patrick Mahomes there, minus 128.
Well, if you're taking Mahomes, then I'll go Kelsey. I'll take Travis Kelsey over 42.5 receiving yards. I get it. It's the Broncos. I get it. They have an outstanding defense. But Kelsey's receiving yardage as of late, 66, 99, 54, 78, 61, 48. He has one under this entire season. He had 26 against the Giants, and then it's 61 and 47 to start the year. Again, I get it. The Broncos defense is outstanding, but Pat Surtain's not covering Travis Kelce. He's still going to be able to operate over the middle of the field. He's going to find those mismatches. And if the Broncos defense is so excellent, it is, but that means Mahomes is going to be more likely to look for his favorite target, and that's Travis Kelce over the middle of the field. This is 3 catches, maybe 4 catches, and Kelce can easily do that.
Yeah, I like that. Kelce's been quietly good this year. Like he's kind of been.
He's been better than he was last year.
Pete Kelce was what was the Taylor Swift announcement year? 2 years ago?
Peak Kelce was probably 22, 23.
Or when was the first year of the Taylor Swift stuff?
23, because they were in the suit. Yeah.
So that was kind of like, like when we didn't know. And then last year, it was like all we saw was her on the broadcast. And now this year, it's kind of fading away a little bit, right? But yeah.
You know why that is?
Why?
Because so she asked the NFL to stop showing her, and they said, no, but you can't do that. And she arranged it somehow. I would have to look into it. I think essentially what it boils down to is she arranged it to be sort of a public appearance. So every time they show her on the screen, they have to pay her a certain amount of money. So that's why they aren't really showing her.
That's good. I mean, that's probably smart. I mean, you don't need to show her every time her husband's not doing anything, but he's playing better. He's playing better than he's been playing, right? And we don't talk about Kelce that much anymore. We talk about Rashee Rice. We talk about Xavier Worthy. We talk about Pat Mahomes. So he's kind of faded off, but I like the play.
Yeah. Thank you.
My last play here, if I'm making one more here, give me Mr. Comeback Player of the Year, Rashee Rice, over 76.5 receiving yards. That's the guy. It's simple as that. If you're throwing the football, you're getting it to Rashee Rice in space, and he makes plays. The dude is so explosive. If you want a Rashee Rice touchdown right now, you can get that for plus 120. I think that's a great deal. I think plus 120 for him to score is just outstanding, knowing how they use him. He had the rushing touchdown against the Bills, I believe, right? Like there's so many ways to use him in the offense. So I'll take Rashee Rice plus 120.
I'm interested to see how this offense evolves over time, because Xavier Worthy's really not doing anything for them. It feels like Rashee Rice is really the one receiver they've got. I think about how many dudes have been in the room the last few years. They've had Juju in there. They've had DeAndre Hopkins in there. They've cycled in a bunch of different players, and it seems like they can't really get one guy to stick. Rashee Rice seems to be the one guy who's actually, held up.
Worthy will be fine. He's young. That's the thing about Xavier Worthy. The kid's young. What hell?
He's 22, like 160, 160 pounds.
He's young. He's got to mature a little bit. I mean, 22 years old. So he was in the league at 20, right? Was he a rookie last year? No, 2 years ago he was a rookie.
No, wait. I thought.
Was last year's rookie year?
I think last year was his rookie year.
Yeah.
Let
me see. 2024. Yeah. So like he's young. The kid, I mean, he's so tiny. He is. Put some weight on. Yeah, he's so tiny. So anyways, Grant, anything else from this game?
No, I think we're good to move on.
All right. We got a big one here coming up on Sunday Night Football. Detroit Lions versus the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are a 2.5-point home favorite. They can't score any points, though. Everybody wants the offensive coordinator to be fired. Philly fans are turning on Jalen Hurts. Everybody in the locker room is turning on A.J. Brown. This is going to be a very interesting game. You have a connected Lions football team coming to town who is just rolling offensively, beat up Grant's commies last weekend. Grant, Eagles or Lions, where are you leaning?
I think this is a message to the defending Super Bowl champions, to the NFC, to the AFC. I think this is SmackDown versus Raw, but it's just a SmackDown from the Lions. I think they're going to come in. They're going to, for the first time in 3 years, make the Eagles look physically incapable. Even when the Eagles have been outplayed, they've never been out. They've never looked like the inferior team based on physicality. They've looked strong. They've looked fast. I think the Lions are going to put them in their place. The way Dan Campbell, and I get it, it was the Commanders. The Commanders' defense is historically bad. But when Dan Campbell came out and he ran the ball between the tackles 10, 15 plays in a row to start the game. He's the one calling plays now. We know the type of guy Dan Campbell is. He is going to make this a bar fight of a game. And that's what the Eagles want because they're used to dominating teams in that way, but they will not dominate the Lions doing that in this game. And then when the Lions open up their playbook, when they get to some of the play action, when they get the deep shots, the Eagles, they can get to that at their best, but they're also on a historic 3-and-out rate. Just inconsistency is what's defined their offense. So I do think this is going to be, I think the Lions are going to hit 30. I think this could be like a 31-20 sort of game. Lions win big time.
I mean, both these teams are still alive for the number 1 seed. You look at Philadelphia Eagles 7-2 right now in the NFC, Lions 6-3, and then you have the other two great records with the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. It's 7-2 themselves. So this is a big game here for playoff implications. Also, with the Packers losing last week, Lions, the division is wide open right now. They can just run away with it if they keep winning football games. So, I mean, I tend to lean towards the Lions here. My fear is that spread has gone from +1 to +2.5, but the Lions are a better football team. And the thing with the Eagles is they can be so inconsistent one week and then they can come out the next week and just dominate like that. They are more than capable of doing that. It's very simple to do that. You have Devontae Smith, you have A.J. Brown, and Saquon Barkley with a really good offensive line. My thing is, what do we get from Lane Johnson in this game? That's one thing. He got hurt last week, came back in. Is he going to be full go? Is he going to be ready to go here? What are you going to get from just a passing game perspective? Are they going to be able to get the ball downfield to A.J. Brown? If they don't do that, I don't think they stand much of a chance of beating the Lions because Detroit is going to score in this game. So I'll take the Lions to win outright, +120 right now.
I got 2 player props in this one. The first one, I'm going to take the Jalen Hurts over. It's kind of the same logic I was looking at with a Bo Nix line earlier. Over 203.5. That's a very low line, and I get it. Jalen, he hasn't warranted a high line. He had 183 last week, 179 before that. But also the week before that, it was 326, averaged 14 yards per attempt. But Jalen's had a lot of these 160, 130, 180 sort of games this season. If the Lions are going out there and they're doing what I think they will do, you have to move the ball down the field. You just, there's no way around it. And you might put yourself in positions you don't want to be in, but you're going to be chasing, and that means you're going to have to go over. And you know what? If I'm wrong, if I've got this wrong and the Eagles win the game, I still think there's pressure on Jalen with A.J. Brown making those comments on the stream, with just some of the issues in the locker room, with the offense being as inconsistent as it has been. There's still pressure on Jalen to throw the ball. So I think he can go over no matter how the game plays out.
A.J. Brown has every right to be angry about not getting the football, but he has no right to go on streamers, whatever streams, and say, drop me in fantasy football and I want to produce. Like, he has no right to do that. That's the thing. Like, it's about winning the football game. And I think personally, like, I'm taking A.J. Brown over 60.5 receiving yards. I'm taking A.J. Brown touchdown. If this is just the perfect matchup for them to throw the ball, because they're going to have to throw. But if you don't get A.J. Brown at least 60 receiving yards in this game, I think he may just walk away from the damn team. Right?
I saw a stat that he's run a total of like 16 crossing routes this entire season. I forget what the exact number is, but it was something in like the 70s or the 80s for the NFL as far as ranking. And it's like, how do you not find more ways to get him the football?
I don't know. He's that good. Like he's a specimen, and they can't get him the ball.
Coming into this year, I was, during the offseason, we got to find fun things to do. So we did things like receiver rankings. And everybody knows the top 2. Everyone knows it's Jefferson and Chase. AJ was my number 3.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like that was wrong. And I think he can still easily hit that level. It's just they're not throwing him the ball and they're not getting him in good positions.
I have no clue. I genuinely don't know how they aren't. You just throw the ball up to him. He's going to go make plays. He's AJ Brown.
Jalen's biggest games where he's looked good, he's just chucked up the deep ball. And you can say what you want because that's still not very inventive, and you're relying on. It's not even that Jalen's doing a great job. I mean, the deep ball has always been his best pass, but like it's not like Jalen's identifying, oh, this is the perfect throw. I'm going through my reads and everything. No, he's just kind of like, I've got Devontae Smith and I've got AJ Brown. So if I put it up there, they're going to win the jump ball. And that's what's happened in his best games.
I think the issue with the Eagles offense right now is they're still thinking it's 2024 where they can just live with Saquon Barkley running the football in the run game. And they can't. Like Saquon Barkley is not as effective. He made a great play the other night, which put them in a position to ultimately win the game on a screenplay or just a whatever.
Yeah.
I think it was, but it was, you can't win without throwing in the National Football League for the most part. And they're trying to do that. And I don't know why. Like Jalen can still throw the ball. He's not a terrible passer, and they're just not using him in that area.
Yeah, it's not. Please, Hurts is a lot better than Justin Fields, but I did feel that way about Justin Fields. I was looking at it at halftime last night. He had 23 passing yards at halftime last night. And I was looking at it going, 3 of his last 4 games, he had 54 or fewer passing yards, and he's got 23 at halftime. It's like, he could be as bad. He could be the worst quarterback in NFL history.
Yeah.
He can throw for 150. He can throw for 170. There, you are doing something to prevent him from getting to where he's trying to go.
Yeah, you're not calling the right plays. You're not.
Yeah.
There's an issue with the play calling. And I get it against the Packers maybe a little bit more because this is a defensive battle and you don't want a big mistake because one mistake is going to end the game pretty much. But for the most part, if you're in a back and forth game, like you got to throw the ball a little bit. This week, we're going to have to see that. Another play I'm going to go with, Grant, Dallas Goedert over 37.5 receiving yards. Dallas Goedert I think he has more receiving yards than A.J. Brown on the season. It's pretty damn close.
I can check for you.
I think he's got 332. I thought A.J. Brown was in that 300 range as well. Might have been low 400.
Yeah, AJ's got 408. Yeah. Goddard's got 332.
All right, so that's embarrassing. But AJ Brown or Dallas Goedert had 43 yards against the Packers. He had 110 against the Giants. Up and down, big game, slow game. But I do think that's the one guy that seems to get a lot of targets. I mean, 6, 3, 3, 11, 9. They target him a lot. He's the safety valve for him. So I think this is a spot where he's going to have a pretty big game.
I'm going to go with, it feels like a safe a pick you're going to find. I'll take a Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown. He's got 10 touchdowns already this season. Dan Campbell, again, clearly came in with the mindset, I'm just running between the tackles. I'm getting the ball in the hands of my best player. You saw what he did against Washington. And again, it's a terrible Washington defense, but it is a perfect representation of what he can do. He had one where he slammed it in between the tackles on the goal line. He had a 43-yard outside run that he took to the house. And then he beat the linebacker on an angle route, caught a touchdown. Gibbs can do anything you want him to. It doesn't matter what the situation of the game is. He is clearly running back number 1. I know we like to think of it of a committee with Montgomery, but if you watch them at all, Gibbs is clearly the guy.
Yeah.
And this is a game where you got to get in the hands of your best player. So
he's definitely the guy, but they do alternate series a lot. Like
they do, yeah.
They each get their touches. I like Gibbs everything, over receiving yards, over rushing yards. I mean, they just get the ball in his hands so many times. Touchdowns minus 125. You feel a lot better this year. Like in years past, it was all the joke was the Montgomery touchdown is going to come in and take away from the Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown. Now it's the Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown is the main guy, and you're sweating out that David Montgomery touchdown, which is fun to see.
Yeah, I've been surprised. They've given it to Gibbs a lot at the goal line, and you feel like that would be where you would bring in Montgomery, but no, they're happy giving it to Gibbs.
Yep. Anything else in this game, Grant?
I think I got Hurts, Gibbs. No, I'm good. Hurts, Gibbs, Lions win outright.
All right, Grant. Well, we got a big one on Monday. The worst of the slate, but we'll talk about it. You break it down for us.
Monday Night Football, Tanner and I are going to give you our best picks from this game, the final game of NFL Week 11. We got the new look Dallas Cowboys going on the road. Quinnen Williams, Logan Wilson, and the boys rallying to try to save what has been arguably the worst defense in the NFL. They're going against the Las Vegas Raiders, and that's good news for them because the Raiders' offense is also one of the worst in the NFL. Geno Smith has 12 interceptions to 11 touchdowns. Ashton Jeanty looks like he's playing Penn State with the Boise State offensive line again. He's averaging 3.8 yards per carry. So a matchup between two teams that are struggling, yet maybe you have a little bit of optimism for both. Like the Raiders did take the Jags to overtime the other week. The Cowboys do have these defensive reinforcements coming in with an explosive offense. Cowboys favored by 3.5 points on the road. How do you see this one playing out?
I mean, I think the Cowboys should win the game because I don't trust the Raiders offense at all. Like I don't trust them going shot for shot, even against the Dallas Cowboys defense. It's really bad. Are the Cowboys, do they have any chance of making the playoffs?
They
3 and
still have a
5.
chance, yes.
Very
The
slim,
tie
right?
against the Packers helps them out a lot.
Playoff probabilities. Let's see. I want to look this up. Yeah, I mean the Cowboys are a better team. They have a playoff offense at least. The defense has been terrible. I don't know. You look at just Matt Eberflus, the defensive coordinator, has not gone very well this season. Right now, if you look at the NFC, they have a 5% chance to get in. They have a 6% chance if they win, and they have a 2% chance if they lose. So not looking good for them. The Raiders have less than a 1% chance no matter what. These two teams are playing for pride here, but I think Dak continues the MVP caliber season and just rolls here.
Well, Dak did have 2 bad games before the bye week, so I get what you're saying. He was having an MVP caliber season up until that point. I think he is out of it now, but I do think he has a great chance to roll in this game as well. I'll start you off by talking about Ashton Jeanty. 6th pick in the draft. Obviously, it hasn't gone according to plan. You can certainly blame the offensive line. You can certainly blame Geno Smith, and that's played a major role in why Jeanty has struggled because defenses it's been easy for them to key in on him, but at the same time, he hasn't delivered. So I will take him under 63.5 passing or rushing yards, excuse me. He has trended under this line pretty heavily. I get it. The Cowboys defense has sucked, but Quinnen Williams should single-handedly change your run defense. You also got Logan Wilson in there, help out make some tackles at the second level of the defense. So I will take Jeanty under 63.5 there.
I like that play. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the Cowboys do the rest of the season, building towards next year with the defensive supplements you added, right? And they still have control. They'll definitely have control over Quinnen Williams, I imagine. And
yeah, and they got the 2 picks in the first round this summer.
So yeah, I mean they're in a good spot moving forward. This is about building for the future right now. But yeah, Cowboys 3.5 feels very easy in the spot. And I think Dak Prescott over 254.5. I see him just throwing the ball all game on the Las Vegas Raiders defense. They're giving up 214 passing yards per game. They're giving up 24 points per game, which is bottom third of the NFL right now. They've, if you neutralize Max Crosby, I think you're okay. And we talked about this last time the Raiders played the Broncos in prime time. Like the defense has been okay. It's been more the offense putting them in bad situations. I just think there's too much firepower for the Cowboys here in the spot with a team that, does have some hope for the future where I can't say the same thing about the Raiders right now.
So I do think Dak's going to have a good game. I'm going to give you 2 picks here in quick succession. I do think Dak's going to have a good game. I am going to take his longest pass under 35.5 yards because the interesting thing about the Raiders is they give up a lot of passing yards. They give up a high completion percentage, but their actual yards per attempt is actually better than league average. So they do a good job of keeping things in front of them, but they're just not really stopping those plays. Dak also didn't go over this line in the last 2 weeks. I think it's a sneaky matchup. He's also gone under this line in 5 of 9. Again, you look at the raw numbers, like, yes, the Raiders give a bunch of yards, this and that, but the fact that they do a good job keeping it in front of him, I think that could actually keep Dak under this line. At the same time, though, I'm going to take the CeeDee Lamb over, which is at 84.5 receiving yards, because he's gone over this in 4 of 5 games, excluding the game that he got injured early on. Had 85 yards last week, and in 3 of these 5, he's actually caught 110 yards or more. So I think he could get over this relatively easily.
I think Geno Smith is probably one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life. Who's like gone from being a backup where he should have been to a starting quarterback that was given $1 million bajillion contract. What's he on a 3-year deal worth? What?
I think it's 3 for $90.
That's crazy. That's insanity. I would not be comfortable with that. I'd rinse that money in the offseason and get somebody new. I
lied. That's the Baker contract. It's 2 for $75.
That's a better deal. So you got 1 more year of dealing with this trash. But so he's thrown 11 touchdowns and 12 interceptions this year. He's thrown interception in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of 9 games this season. He's thrown 1 touchdown in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 9 games. So he's actually, there's been, he's got basically a 50-50 chance of throwing a touchdown. With that being said, when he does throw a touchdown, the games he's thrown multiple touchdowns in 3 of the 5 games. Geno Smith over 1.5 passing touchdowns feels right in this game. I think they're going to have to throw the ball. Obviously, the Cowboys defense is going to give up yards to the air. They're going to give up touchdown opportunities, and Geno Smith has to deliver here. Like if he throws 0 touchdown passes against the Dallas Cowboys, you need to fire him right away. Right.
Their backup is they have Kenny Pickett, right? You put Kenny two gloves out there.
Pickett's better. Pickett is 100% better than Geno Smith. Like, you can't even make that argument.
I'm making the argument. I'm taking Geno over Kenny Pickett.
Geno is trash. Geno's a great. How about this? I think Kenny Pickett's a better starting quarterback than Geno. I think Geno's a better backup quarterback than Kenny Pickett.
What does that even mean?
It means I'd rather have Geno coming off the bench than I would Pickett, but I'd rather have Pickett starting. And I hate Pickett with the two gloves. I think that's the dumbest. The fact that the Pittsburgh Steelers drafted him in the first round is insanity for a guy that wears two gloves. You don't draft anybody in the first round who wears two gloves on their hands.
I still want Geno over Kenny Pickett.
You like Geno over 1.5 passing touchdowns?
I can see what are the odds?
-110.
I don't know. If it was plus money, I might take it. I think it could happen though. I think there is logic behind it.
If it was plus money, that would be embarrassing to Geno. Like, that's so bad. If throw 2 touchdowns against the worst passing defense in the NFL, that's embarrassing for plus.
I mean,
money.
he's been pretty bad.
He's been very bad. But like, this defense,
4 touchdowns 2 weeks ago.
This defense is bad against the Jags. The Jags have a better defense than the
Cowboys. Yeah,
Cowboys. Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I'll take one. You know what?
7 to the Broncos.
I'll take. Here's another one too. Let me see. Geno Smith. Yardage wise, he's been pretty bad as well. Give me how about a little parlay piece? Dak Prescott to have the most passing yards in the game, -172. Stick that in a parlay.
Now that's money. That should be money.
You know what I like? I'm gonna do that and Patrick Mahomes not to throw a pick for +181. Kick my
wonder
feet
if there's what's another lopsided quarterback battle? Like, could you do a most passing yards parlay?
Those are good markets.
They are 100%. Could you do a Lamar Jackson against the Browns most passing yards and then Dak Prescott most passing yards parlay?
You could. What was that? Repeat it.
Lamar's you get -196 for Lamar, and then you get Dak, and you parlay them together, and you come away with +138 odds.
Lamar and Dak.
Lamar to have more passing yards than Dylan Gabriel, and Dak to have more passing yards than Geno Smith.
Let me see. So that is. Do they even offer? I don't even know if they offer the most passing yards. Here we go. Lamar -196, Dak +138 there.
Yeah. I might bet that.
That's a good bet. I'm going to do that. I mean, I'm going to throw in the Mahomes no interception in there. Why not? But if Mahomes throws a pick, it's on a tip or an overthrow. Like, I can't see him just throwing one to the defense.
Yeah, I mean, he did it against us, and I was shocked because I was like, that's not supposed to happen.
+325 right there. Dak, most passing yards. Lamar, most passing yards. And Mahomes, no interception. Bang. Love it.
Wow. That's the Ride the Line primetime picks show done and dusted.
That was Ride the Line, the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. Hell of a show today. This was a fun one.
This was fun. And we do have a lot of new viewers on the channel here. So, guys, we appreciate you being here. Make sure you hit the like button if you did enjoy. That's the #1 way you can support us. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button because Tanner and I are here throughout the week giving picks in the NFL, NBA. We'll see what else comes up. Maybe I'll convince Tanner to give some soccer picks. When the MLB comes back, we got it all here for you.
That was Ride the Line, the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. We will see you next time for another episode.